So, things got out of hand. When it comes to planning a vacation, there are two types of people. There's the person who plans the itinerary, where to go, things to see, and then there's the rest of the party who just show up when and where they're supposed to. I am the second type of person. Every year, my family and a group of our longtime family friends take a vacation to a new place. Last week, we took a trip to Tennessee, and I thought we were just going to Nashville, but apparently my mom told me multiple times that during the second half of this trip, we would be visiting Memphis, and I completely tuned that information out somehow. So you could imagine my surprise when after our 3-hour drive to Memphis on that fateful Friday morning, we pulled up to the Bass Pro Shop Pyramid. Not just to take an ironic selfie, which I did do plenty of those, but also to unpack our bags and get comfortable, because this would become our home for the next 48 hours. A chaotic, unforgettable 48 hours. So if you want to get technical, I stayed in the Bass Pro Shop Pyramid Hotel for 2 days, but I was technically inside of it for 24 hours straight at one point. We pulled in on Friday and didn't leave the triangular structure until Saturday morning. The whole reason we were there was because we had tickets to see Graceland, we also went to Beale Street, I had some of the best mac and cheese I've ever had in my life at BB King's, and we saw the National Civil Rights Museum. But that's not the subject of this video. The point is that I had 2 days to experience every single thing this pyramid had to offer, and boy was this a bit that I committed way too hard to.
In the heart of Memphis, on the banks of the mighty Mississippi, stands a new monument to the outdoors, a decade in the making. A tribute to nature and the rich traditions of hunting, fishing, and the outdoors like none before it.
The Bass Pro Shop Pyramid was originally known as the Great American Pyramid or the Pyramid Arena. They hosted some sports games here and there until they didn't, and then Bass Pro Shops reached an agreement to open a superstore in the building. According to the website, this is how that dream came to fruition.
People often ask, why put a Bass Pro Shops inside of a pyramid? Well, it all came down to one really big catfish. In 2005, Johnny Morris went fishing on the Mississippi River. He set out with a couple of his fishing buddies, Bill Dance, the famous angler and TV show host, and Jack Emmett, Bass Pro's first fishing manager. When they got near the Memphis Pyramid, Johnny looked up and told them that he would build a store inside if they caught a 30-pound catfish. Sure enough, with only about an hour left in the trip, his buddy, Jack, got a bite and reeled in a monster catfish in the shadow of the pyramid. Without much hesitation, Johnny said, "It's a deal. We're gonna do it."
So let's start with our room and some of our first day activities. For those who are curious, once you enter the pyramid lobby, you have two options. You can either go straight through the turnstiles to enter the store, or you can head to this little alcove on the right for the hotel check-in to Big Cypress Lodge. After you check in, you get a special bracelet and a key card that give you access to the hotel concourse on the 3rd floor. They are really heavy on keeping interactions between the hotel rooms and the show floor as separate as possible, and you'll see what I mean a little later. After we checked in, we headed up to our room. We stayed in the governor's suite for the duration of our trip here. It's the biggest suite in the hotel. It has 2 bedrooms as well as a large common area, a balcony, and a full kitchen. We stayed in this suite because we had quite a few people in our party, my parents, me, my sister and her boyfriend, and for those of you who are curious, Brian was not able to make this trip, but I did keep him updated with various unhinged texts about what we were doing. The suite was very spacious, it was frequently a gathering spot for our late night card games with our friends, and the rooms were pretty nice, although they were a little dark, the lighting isn't exactly the brightest. The bathroom was also really nice, although the toilet was separated by this little door, so it made you feel like you were peeing in a closet. The nicest thing about this suite though is the balcony. It's a weird feeling because it pretty much constantly feels like you're hanging outside on a porch at nighttime, but you're literally just in a store. It's centered with the rest of the pyramid, so you can really take in what the designers were going for, making it look like this busy outdoorsy show floor mixed with like a Vegas strip. We all spent so much time out on this balcony just because it was good for people watching and it was really cool. Something that is not so cool depending on the kind of person you are though. They really commit to the outdoorsy theming in pretty much all aspects, and that includes lots of taxidermy everywhere. If that is unsettling or objectionable to you in any way, I would definitely not suggest staying here because we got very well acquainted with the folks that were mounted on our walls. What's his name?
Fred. That was Vito.
That was Vito.
That was Vito.
Correct. No, that's Vito.
There's Cha-Cha.
Cha-Cha.
Up there.
Okay. After we settled into our rooms, we grabbed some lunch at Wahlburgers. Now, I spent a lot of time in the city of Boston. I went to college there for 4 years, and I have come to know Wahlburgers as an average fast food chain, one that I have frequented at Logan Airport in particular. But to my surprise, it's one of 2 flagship restaurants at the Bass Pro Shop Pyramid. It's actually a sit-down restaurant, and it's actually called Wahlburgers Wild, which means they serve a lot of additional items like catfish, bison burgers, and fried alligator. I did end up trying the fried alligator, which surprised many of the people around me because I'm a super picky eater, but it looked and tasted exactly like popcorn chicken, just a little saltier. It's worth mentioning here that in a weird way, Wahlburgers is the supplier of pretty much all of the food in the Bass Pro Shop Pyramid except for the restaurant at the top. So for example, there's no traditional hotel continental breakfast here. That food is also supplied by Wahlburgers. Meaning that if you want breakfast before the store opens at 9 a.m., you have to be escorted to Wahlburgers by someone who works there to go get a breakfast sandwich. Additionally, I'm pretty sure they supply the food to the other bar spots around the hotel. So needless to say, by the end of the trip, I think we were all a little bit tired of Wahlburgers, but it was okay because Uber Eats drivers are apparently very used to driving up to deliver food to the pyramid, and we had a kitchen, so that gave us a little bit more flexibility as far as food. We had some time before our dinner reservation at the top of the pyramid, so we decided to cross a couple of other activities off of our list. The first one being bowling, which you can actually get to from the Wahlburgers restaurant. It's on the other side. Bowling was like bowling anywhere else. It was pretty cool. It was all underwater themed. It was about $37 per lane per 1 hour. And I think we got our money's worth, although I am not very good at bowling. The bowling also takes place in the area called the Fish Bowl, which is this fish themed bar. And then the other side, there are pool tables, which you can also rent. Congrats on your victory. And after we bowled a little bit, we decided to explore around the store floor. The store is open from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. and even if you're a hotel guest, they will not let you come in a second earlier or stay a second later. They will kick your ass right out. We'll talk about the first floor first because I didn't get up to the second floor until the next day. The most impressive thing about the pyramid is the fact that there are so many animals on the first floor. They have these big, massive aquariums and fish tanks and ponds that are full of all kinds of fish. For real, a lot of the fish here look like the rare fish in Animal Crossing that you really only ever catch one time. They also had gators that just kind of chill out and don't really do much, and they had ducks walking around too. The first floor also had this fun shooting game where you got to put a couple quarters in and shoot some objects in this little cave setup. While we were playing, we also made friends with some bikers who were in town from Michigan for a biker rally. I got to take a picture with one of them. He was very nice. I still don't know his name. This is also the main floor where you purchase stuff, so there's a lot of merchandisey stuff for Bass Pro Shops like t-shirts, hats, things like that. It also doubles as a show floor, so for the pricier items like the boats, the pontoons, the ATVs, that stuff is all down there too. There's also this little section on the first floor that's framed and decorated like this little old-timey store. They sell different kinds of food items here, but the main thing they're known for is their fudge. We bought different flavors of fudge and had a taste test after dinner, but before we get there, let's take you to the top of the pyramid. So the top of the pyramid doubles as an observation deck and a fancier restaurant. If you were not a guest at the hotel, it costs about $8 to take the elevator ride up to the observation deck, but if you are a hotel guest, the elevator ride is free. The elevator does go up quite high and it is transparent so you can see everything around you as you're going up. I'm not very afraid of heights, so this wasn't a problem for me, but I can understand why it would be scary for some folks. Thoughts?
Awesome.
Scary.
Thoughts? It's a video.
Oh.
Hi.
Thoughts?
This was an incredible experience, you know, going to the top of the 7th largest pyramid in the world. It's pretty cool.
Nick, thoughts?
Terrifying, but cool.
Like I said before, dinner up here is a lot more formal. They have a lot more traditional options like steak. I got a pasta dish that was pretty good. I will say the wait is a little bit longer, and I think that's because it was probably a little crowded on the night that we were there. But it is cool because you can go outside and you can take pictures out on the observation deck, so it didn't make our wait for our food seem that long. It's also worth noting here that the elevator only fits 8 people at a time, so sometimes it's a slow way up, and it was definitely a slow way down. But we got down before the store closed, which meant we were able to buy some fudge from the general store, and we took it back up to our room for a taste test. We kept joking about how we wanted to sneak around in the Bass Pro Shop after hours, and you really can't do that. They have security on hand to make sure nobody's doing that, and they have security on hand to make sure that nobody in the store is trying to go up to the hotel. We bought 3 flavors for the taste test. We got chocolate, peanut butter, and Rocky Road, and we all tasted it to determine which one was the best.
It's not too peanut buttery.
It's not too peanut buttery. I like the texture.
What do you think, Danielle?
It's not too sweet.
I like it.
I like it.
I think the fudge is like chewy. Yeah, I agree.
Rocky Road ended up being the favorite for the majority, not me though, I like the chocolate the best. What the fuck do I know though? I don't eat red meat and I don't eat pizza, and yet somehow I didn't need any convincing to try fried alligator while on this trip. No one should trust any of my food opinions at all. So you know how in season 1 of Severance, the characters spend the entire season making these big discoveries about the shady corporation and how everything isn't what it seems, and then by the end of the season, all of the storylines start converging, and you get a hint that you were right and that your conspiracy theories were slightly correct, but you still don't have that many solid answers as to what's going on? That's how it felt as far as day 2 of my time in the Bass Pro Shop Pyramid. Okay, so for my second day of my trip in Memphis, we actually spent it out and about, as I said, doing some of the more touristy things, but we did that early in the morning, so we still had plenty of time to check off everything on the list as far as the Bass Pro Shop Pyramid and what we hadn't done yet. And here's where I have to talk about some of the things that we set out to do that we didn't get a chance to do. The footage you're seeing right now is from the second floor of the Bass Pro Shop Pyramid, and for good reason, a lot of this stuff is sort of hidden away. It's not on the show floor on the bottom, but you can buy guns, crossbows, knives, basically anything that you would need to kill and skin an animal, it's here. Now, we had heard from folks around that there was a pistol range and an archery range. And I don't know, maybe it's because we're lowly northerners who are not very immersed in the world of gun culture, but we assumed that it would be like a normal kind of firing range where they would have guns for you to fire at targets and shit. Again, this is probably our fault, but when we went to investigate this, we found out that you actually have to bring your own gun and your own crossbow into the store to be able to use the firing range. Now that sounds insane to me because once again, I am from up north and therefore I don't know much about gun culture, so forgive my ignorance, but that's fucking crazy that you have to bring your own firearm into the Bass Pro Shop Pyramid, take it to the second floor, and then they'll let you use their firing range. Feels like a missed opportunity. At least do something for the folks out of town who are not traveling with their own guns. Give us a fucking laser tag, paintball. There's plenty of space in the place. I don't know. We were just kind of bummed. And on top of that, my backup plan was to try to make friends with somebody going into the firing range so I could at least like maybe try to film them doing it and see what it was like. And there's nobody at these stations. We went up to these stations multiple times on the second floor, the archery range and the firing range, and we went during like open hours and there was just no one there. So theoretically, even if you did bring in your own gun, you could, I guess, make your way up to the ranges to try to like participate in this activity, and sometimes the staff just won't be there to let you do it. The other thing that I'm bummed I didn't get to do was the spa, and this was kind of a different situation. Spa is on the same floor as the hotel rooms. I don't know if it's open to store guests as well as hotel guests, but it's open 9 to 5 and it has one number that you can call to make a reservation. And on their website, they claim to have all kinds of stuff. Manicures, pedicures, massages, facials, all kinds of shit. Now remember, I'm just doing this to cross it off my list. I didn't really care what I got. I was gonna get the cheapest thing. I just wanted to say that I went to the spa inside the pyramid so I could tell you guys how it was. I'm routinely calling this number over the course of these 2 days. Nobody is picking up. Every time I go there, there's nobody in there. There's always a sign that says, "We'll be back soon, we're with a client," which, okay, whatever. Maybe they're crowded, maybe they're busy, but I couldn't even get through to anyone to even really see what was going on. So in kind of a last Hail Mary of desperation, because I really wanted to cross this off my list, I went and waited around 4:30 to see if anybody would come back to the spot to close up the shop for the day to ask them about it. Eventually, I do run into this one lady who's closing up the shop for the day, and she's as sweet as could be. This is totally not her fault at all, but I was asking, hey, I'm trying to get into this appointment before I leave, and she was like, oh, well, we're closed tomorrow, and that was Sunday, the day I was leaving, so I was kind of shit out of luck, and I was like, oh yeah, I was looking to get a facial, it's no big deal, I just was, really hoping to get in, and she was like, oh, we don't even have facials here, we're just doing massages, we're just staff for massages, and I was like, oh, okay, that's fine, but I'm like, why does it say that on the website, that you have facials and manicures and all that? Why does it lie?
Oh, why does it lie?
Why does the pyramid lie? And I want to make it clear, this is not a reflection of the staff in any way. The staff at the hotel and at the store are very wonderful. They are some of the best hotel staff I've ever interacted with. I feel like this is more of like a corporate communications issue. The best way to illustrate what I'm talking about is our search for bingo. To put it simply, every day the hotel has a list of events on the schedule. One of the events that was listed while we were there was bingo. Now remember, I'm trying to cross as much stuff as possible off my list. I'm already bummed out because there is a couple things that I can't do due to either miscommunications or the fact that I don't have my own gun. So I really wanted to play some bingo. I went to the den with my mom, which is where the bingo was supposed to be happening, and there wasn't really much going on. We then get our own personal extrovert, Andrew, to go ask the bartender whether or not bingo is happening, and she says bingo is canceled because a bunch of people called out, and I guess you need a bunch of people to run bingo. We're like, okay, whatever, bingo's canceled. Andrew and I go to the other side of the store to check out the hunting and the archery range stuff one more time, to ask a couple questions, see what's going on, film some more stuff, and then we get a call from my mom 20 minutes later that bingo is actually happening. So we run all the way to the other side of the pyramid to get ready for bingo, and we get to play. But like literally it only happened because Andrew asked about it. Andrew,
There's no shot.
you single-handedly made bingo happen today.
Yeah, I love bingo. And we're winning too. We're winning it, mark my words.
And by the time bingo got going, we had a lot of people who just stopped into the den and wanted to play. So it was good that Andrew asked, but had he not asked, it wouldn't have happened. It just would have been on the activity board, like for the hotel, and just nobody would have done anything. It was so weird. Are any of these things a huge deal? No. I still had a great time during my stay. It was a really unique stay. I got some really fun souvenirs to go home with, some of which you've seen in this video. I also brought home this fridge magnet because I thought it was funny. In conclusion, the Bass Pro Shop Pyramid is a bastion of American culture. It may look like a ridiculous meme on the outside, and also the inside. It may also be a symptom of late-stage capitalism, but sometimes you just need a triangular building where you can buy stupid shit and see a couple catfish. And that, my friends, is the America that I know and love.
Get up, cocksuckers. Salute the flag. Get
Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know if you enjoyed this video. I know it's different than what I normally do, and tell me if there are places you'd like me to explore or review next. While you're down there, hit the like button, subscribe, and tell me whether or not you'd eat fried alligator. Thanks so much, you guys, and I'll see you next time.
People often ask, why put a Bass Pro Shop inside of a... Fuck! I can't do it! Shit!
Where did you get? I just heard you yell,
Like the second sentence.
I'm gonna go pee. I'm not here.
Okay, alright.